LuckyfOu versus Alicia, Zerg versus Protoss, and it's the NASL Season 2 qualification tournament, and we have Zerg versus Protoss. We have Xel'Naga Caverns as the map, and at the top right we see LuckyfOu. The Zerg players spawn in red, and Alicia is playing Protoss and playing at the bottom left right now. So this is another one of those games that we'll be casting today. We've had a lot of good games. We had Goody against Killer, for example, a very nice Terran versus Protoss with a pretty interesting strategy of Killer, especially on the second map, Typhon Peaks, and the Zerg versus Terran replays today and games today have been quite amazing as well. So let's see what's going to happen in this Protoss versus Zerg matchup between those two players, and maybe I finally have two Koreans that are able to spam and have a really high APM. No, we don't. They are at 140 and 112, and that's so disappointing. I always hope for the Koreans to show us some 500 APM. I still remember when I was casting the Copenhagen games and Fuse was playing MC, and at some point I showed the APM and Fuse was down to 40 and MC was up at 500 or 600. It looked ridiculous. It was so funny. It was really funny. And well, the whole crowd was just going crazy. They were just laughing. And Fuse is just is such a cool guy. He's a really nice lad from Finland. But now let's focus on LuckyfOu and Alicia. We have the Protoss player with the first gateway, and he's getting gas right now. For Protoss on this map, it's always a little bit tricky what you want to do. Lately, Protoss has been focusing on getting the expansion a lot earlier. The 3-gate expand is nice, but the main problem about it is that you lose the initiative in the game. You enable your opponent to get map control, and you don't want to do that. So a lot of players have been trying with a 2-gate expand and a 1-gate expand, but on Xel'Naga, it's really hard to pull that off, and it's the same situation basically on Metalopolis, because that area around your expansion is just so wide and you have to defend at different spots. It's not easy to defend at all, and a Zerg player that's going to attack you with its Zerglings with speed and maybe some roaches as well is able to take you out fairly soon if you are trying to do that. So let's see what Alicia is hoping to do, what he's going to start into the game. He's chrono boosting his first Stalker, and in the main base of the Zerg player, as you can see, he's already on 21 supply, so we should see a hatchery fairly soon, but he's producing a lot of lings right now. He's producing a lot of Zerglings, and as you can, we have one Overlord just hovering down there. There is another pilot being built, and so far Alicia didn't do anything at all. He's just researching his warp gate technology, and this is not lucky for Lucky. He's pretty unlucky, to be honest, because this Overlord is probably going to die, and that is a huge blunder. That is a huge blunder. He will be supply blocked, and that is just an annoying situation to be in. But if he's able to surround that Stalker, that will be making up for that quite a lot. Zergling speed will be done in a second. Will he be able to pull that off? Will he be able to kill that Stalker? That would be huge in the early game. And he's going to get an expansion right now, but no, the Stalker safely retires into the main base. And at the same time, we have 2 additional gates for Alicia. And he cancelled that pylon, apparently, and is now trying to get one at the bottom of his ramp. Yeah, the first sentry is out already. The second one will join soon. And as soon as the warp gates are done, I expect 3 more sentries to be warped in. So this looks like a very standard 3-gate expansion. While the Zerg player has a lot of Zerglings already on the field, and his hatchery is about to be done. As you can see in the main base, we have 1 queen, and he should get another inject. He should inject again in order to have enough lava to build Zerglings and drones. Speaking of drones, we have 14 drones. That's cutting it quite short. 24 probes for his opponent. And right now the Zerg is getting a lot of pressure, and he's going into the main base. Oh, what a blunder by the Protoss player. He's leaving his base wide open, and now he's losing not only mining time, but a lot of drones as well. He's losing the sentries. He's losing the sentries too, and this is, oh my god, this is not good at all. He's lost so much, but still, the Zerg didn't have too many drones himself, so he needs to do a lot of damage. if he wants to compete with his opponent. The Zerglings are still alive, and in his main base, Alicia didn't cancel that expansion. The Zerglings still scouting 3 gates, nothing else. And the Zerglings just harassing. Let's have another look. 22 probes against 24 drones. And, well, still about even. Still about even. He lost a lot more, though. The Protoss player lost a lot more, especially gas. He lost those sentries, and losing sentries is nothing you want to happen in the early game, because sentries are horribly expensive in terms of gas, and losing them early on is quite a blunder. But still, keep in mind that the Zerg player only had 14 drones when he was attacking, so in terms of economy, they are about even, and he didn't deal all that much damage. I mean, have a look at the workers killed count. He killed 4 workers. He was able to pick off sentries as well. It was a nice attack, but still, with the low economy that he had when he attacked, his lead in the game is actually not all that big. We have 1,200 minerals being mined per minute for the Zerg player. A lot more gas, by the way, for the Protoss than for the Zerg. And as you can see, the red Zerg player is trying to kill those destructible rocks in order to get another base. You always want to be 1 base ahead if you're a Zerg player. You want to be 1 base ahead, and as the Protoss was able to get his 2nd base up and running, the Zerg needs to expand again. So the hatchery is being placed at the spot to his left, and we have a lot of Zergling once again for Lucky, and they have no upgrades just yet, but we have a Baneling Nest being built, and the +1 attack upgrade as well. We have 3 queens, and once again, one of them is only taking care of the creep spread. I love that, because with a 3rd queen, you are for once able to defend against potential airplay, like for example a Void Ray, and at the same time you can just spread your creep like crazy and get map control. We have 40 probes against 41 drones, so they're even in harvested supply. And there's the Twilight Council. When you go for the 3 base expand, you can either go, well, you can basically start whatever tech you want, but you should be limited to 1. We have gateway units for Alicia so far, so he's researching his first upgrades. He's going for the +1 attack upgrade, and the Twilight Council is in midst of the base. This might be a Dark Shrine coming up, but could also be just a Blink stock upgrade. I expect that we'll see a Dark Shrine though. He's mining out of 4 simulators right now, getting a lot of gas, and a Dark Shrine would be quite a nice would add quite a nice touch to the game. And of course, he can always just morph the Dark Templars into Archons, and they are really strong against Zerg, especially if the Zerg player is focusing on links, which is basically what Lucky is doing right now. We have the drop ability as well as the Overlord speed being researched, and another hatchery being built in base hatch, a macro hatch, only to get additional links. That's pretty cool. And there's the Dark Shrine. So he's going for the Dark Shrine and for the Blink upgrade. He's doing both of them. And Crota boosting his Forge as well. The +1 attack upgrade is already done. +2 being researched right now. Another hallucination in order to scout the Zerg player. Let's have a look at the counts. We have 17 army supply against 30, but 76 worker supply against 50. And now Alicia is pushing out, sorry. Alicia is pushing out, and where is that pylon? Where is that offensive warp in pylon? There is none. There is none so far. He's just trying to get rid of the Zerglings and the Xelanga Watchtowers. Will he be able to pick off that Overlord? I don't think so. But the Zerg is trying his run by, scouted by the Phoenix, and immediately the Protoss player is retreating, and the creep spread is just brilliant. Very, very nice creep spread. And the Lings are doing a really good job at forcing the Protoss player to stay behind in order to defend. And nice Blink, he wants to pick off those Zerglings, and he's actually killing a lot of them. The Dark Shrine is about to be done. 115 supply for the Zerg player, 86 for the Protoss, getting ready for his attack. Here comes the first Dark Templar, +2 won't take much longer in order to get ready. Another Chrono Boost would be nice, doesn't have enough energy. Adding additional gateways, 2 additional gateways, and there are those Dark Templars. 3 of them. Is there any detection whatsoever? There's nothing. There's no spore crawler. I don't think. Oh, there's at least infestation pit. Is there an overseer? There's no overseer. And he's targeting the hatch. He's targeting the hatch right away, killing the base. He's not even trying to kill the drones. Just targeting the hatch, and the hatch will fall. It will fall. The overseer is being morphed to spore crawler being built, but the hatch is all he wanted to kill, and he's succeeding in doing that. So really, really well played by Alicia in this situation. He's denying the the Zerg player his third base. Not expanding himself though. He's not expanding himself though. Oh, that's the drone, the probe. So he's trying to do exactly that. He should do that because he needs a third base. He needs to get additional attacks. He's on +3 attack. He's on +2 attack right now, getting the +3 attack as well. And there is the force of the Zerg player. A lot of overlords with banelings. 53 army supply against 60. Will he be able to bomb the shit out of the Protoss player, or will Alicia be able to pull through, because that attack is going to hit him very soon? And here we go. There are hallucination of Archons and the force fields as well. Here's the drop. Is he able to blink back? 100 supply for the Zerg player, 90 for the Protoss, and the Zerg is streaming on with all those Zerglings and the Banelings in the economy, and the Banelings killing the probes as well as the Stalkers, and the Protoss player is dropping in supply. There are Zerglings and Banelings everywhere. 30 army supply against 26. He lost a lot of probes though. He lost a lot of them. He's down to 30 probe supply. As you can see, he lost 30 workers, and now the Protoss player is forced to attack with his army. He only has 36 army supply against the 30, and the Zerg player is reinforcing his army with additional Zerglings. He already has quite a lot of them. He's on +2 attack upgrades, the same upgrade status that the Protoss player has right now. The third base is up again for Lucky, and here come all those speedlings trying to chase down the Blink Stalkers, and they are surrounding the Blink Stalkers. The cooldown is ready, but they will die, all of them. That 1DT won't be able to rescue those Stalkers. They will die a painful death, and rightly so, because being a Stalker is an evil thing. And we have the Zerglings just chasing all over the map. There are additional overlords just hovering at the third base. As you can see, the Nexus is in production once again, being warped in. But with 111 supply against 54, this game should be over. That Overseer enables the Zerg player to kill that Dark Templar as well. And right now, having another look into the main base of Alicia, I think we will see GG fairly soon. He's trying to get the Templar Archive and Archons. This is one thing that actually might enable him to start a comeback in that game, because the main force of the Zerg player so far consists of Zerglings. He has 34 of them, now adding Infestors, having Banelings morphed again as well. And this is really, really weird. Alicia's game right now is, well, especially his macro was a little bit weird. Remember that situation when the Zerg player was actually able to sneak into the main base, kill off some probes, and get a lot of scouting information. Basically the same happened in the last fight, so the macro of Alicia isn't really convincing me at this point. And I think if the Protoss is not able to to step it up a bit, then he will be in trouble against the Zerg, because LuckyfOu is playing an amazing game. He's on 140 supply right now. He has Infestors, he has this Overseer as well, the Overlords with the Banelings, and a lot of Zerglings as well. His upgrades are on 1 armor upgrade, 2 attack upgrades, and here comes the Zerg player once again, just trying to stream in, kill off that unit, that Nexus, and of course all those units of the Protoss player. A nice feedbacks against Infestors, but the Banelings solve, and we have, oh my god, we have so many dead probes, so many, 55 workers killed. Now it's and finishing the rest as well. 78 workers killed. The Banelings really paid off, and LuckyfOu with an amazing game. Alicia just wasn't able to compete with the Zerg player on this first map. Xel'Naga Caverns is won by the Zerg player, and rightly so. We will see the second game coming up in a second. 1-0 for the Zerg player. Well deserved. Congratulations. Here we go with game number 2. Lucky against Alicia, and Lucky was able to win the first game on Xel'Naga Caverns. We are now on Typhon Peaks. Zerg versus Protoss. Alicia has to improve his play. The Protoss player really has to improve his play a little bit, because truth be told, he didn't look all too good on the last map. I mean, in the end, his macro was a little bit off. The Zerg player was able to sneak into the main base of the Protoss way too often, and overall, I think that Protoss struggled quite a bit. But I'm very sure that he will top it up a bit and play better in this map. We have Typhon Peaks, and the Protoss player starting at the bottom left, whereas his opponent is starting at the at the top left. We see the Protoss player, at the bottom left, Lucky spawned. So here we go. And on a map like this, on a map like Typhon Peaks, the expansion is not really all that much easier to defend for the Protoss player. We've been talking about that on Xel'Naga already. If you have an expansion like that, where you have a lot of space around the expo, then it's quite hard to defend it as a Protoss player, because you need a lot of force fields to wall off. You might want to get some cannons, and of course you need a lot of buildings to wall off as well. And as you can see at the bottom left right now, we have the Zerg player just going for the hatch first, which is kind of unusual against Protoss. The main reason for that is that a lot of Protoss players just went for the Forge first play against Zerg in order to get the expansion, for example, or whatever, and cannon rushed. As long as you have a 15 hatch, it's pretty hard to hold off a cannon rush, especially if the Protoss makes good use of the space between the mineral patches, and therefore most Zergs decided to just go for 14 gas, 14 pool against Protoss and expanded roughly 21 supply. But lately a lot of Zergs have tried to pull off again, just try to get that early hatch, get that extra economy, and this is exactly what the Protoss player is scouting right now. He knows about that hatch, he's already building his cybernetics core, and we have the spawning pool being built by Lucky. And at the top left, there is no unit whatsoever for the Protoss player so far. He knows about the hatch first, so he knows that there won't be any Zerglings running into his base anytime soon, so he can wait. He doesn't need that Zealot in order to close the wall in. He can wait for the Cybernetics core to finish. He can start his Warp Gate technology and, of course, Chrono Boot his first Stalker. Rally directly towards the expansion, and that's another thing that's worth mentioning. If you are a player on such a high level, you know perfectly well the timings when, for example, the Zergling speed finishes, when it is when it is possible for the Zergling speed to actually be done. And when you have a Stalker, then you are safe against Zerglings as long as they don't have speed. So rallying this Stalker towards the expansion of the Zerg player makes perfectly sense, as what he wants to do is just try to kill a drone, some Zerglings, put some pressure on the Zerg player, whatever, just annoy him, doesn't really matter. And he knows when the Zergling speed will be done, and he will retreat. As soon as the Zergling speed is about to be done, he will retreat with the Stalker, because if you are caught with the Zergling speed, oh my god, what's happening? If you are caught by Zerglings that have the additional speed upgrade, then you are in a lot of trouble, as they can simply surround your Stalker and then annihilate it. And here, as you can see, Zergling speed is halfway done, and there comes Alicia killing off additional Zerglings. There are not too many of them, and right now he should, and now he's retreating. He's retreating, he knows perfectly well about the timing. As soon as he saw that hatchery, he knew, okay, Zergling speed will be done at roughly the 6-minute mark, and that's why he's retreating. So this is actually a very, very good example. Thank you so much, Alicia, for supporting that, and yeah. Now you've learned something. Zergling speed with the hatch first roughly hits at 6 minutes. And that's the time when he's back. And oh, once again, slacking off a little bit with that force field. And he will have to cancel that Nexus. There are so many Zerglings once again for Lucky. He's playing really Zergling heavy once again. 19 drones against 24 against 24 probes, and he's just walling off trying to kill those Zerglings. Very, very well done, and Lucky is just playing so aggressive. We've seen that on the last map already. He's cutting drones and he's just producing so many Zerglings. That's exactly what happened here once again, and he produced only about 19 drones and then started attacking with those Zerglings. And the good thing about it is that the expansion is quite late this time for Alicia. But another thing that he didn't account for is that there is already one Stargate. There's a Stargate in the main base of the Protoss player, and the first Void Ray is already being rallied towards the main base and the expansion of the Zerg. And as you can see, he's just building the evolution chamber, but he has no scouting information whatsoever about what the Protoss player is doing, and he might not realize that that a Void Ray is actually about to hit him. He's going for a Baling Nest right now, and there are all those Zerglings, and the only thing that he's focusing on right now is just trying to delay that expansion. The Void Ray is now being visible to the Zerg. The Overlord is dead already, and he started to build Spore Crawlers right away. Here we have the Void Ray attacking the Queen immediately, and the Queen won't be able to kill the Void Ray. Needs to retreat, doesn't do it. I have no idea why. He should have just retreated a little bit, because the Spore Crawler would have finished and the Queen would still be alive. But with a good positioning, he will be able to pick off drones, and that positioning is actually very, very good. So the first drones are dead, and there's the second Void Ray already. As you can see, he's basically denying the Zerg player the opportunity to make good use of his expansion, to harvest to its full extent. And we have additional Void Rays. That will be Void Ray number 3. And curiously enough, the Zerg player is not building additional Queens, but getting another expansion. He apparently is on the assumption that the Protoss player will just stop producing Overlords, but the Overlords are flying everywhere. There are 3 Queens, and there is a third Void Ray already. There's quite a lot of them. So the expansion is up and running as well. Let's have a look at the army supply. 9 to 25, 51 workers to 37, plus 1 attack upgrade is being researched. The base is fairly safe. We have another photon cannon. Those Lings are still in position, and the Void Rays down there will be able to attack that base if they are able to get into a good position. And let's have a look at the income itself. 1,300 minerals for the Zerg player and 1,000 for Alicia. So, unit counting station, 48 drones against 39. 4 Queens by now. So that's better. That's more like it. With 4 Queens, he's fairly safe, especially if he has enough energy to transfuse his Queens. But the Void Rays aren't the only units in the arsenal of the Protoss player. There are a lot of Stalkers as well, and the Stalkers and the Sentries are just now trying to attack the main base. And as you can see, as soon as that pylon is up, he can just warp some units down there. He can, for example, attack the natural expansion, warp some Zealots down at the bottom, and that will put the Zerg player in quite a tough spot. The Zerglings are trying to attack Balings as well, but all those units are being killed by the cannon. There's 1 force field way too late. All the units are dead anyway, so this attack didn't do the Zerg player any good at all. He's on 82 supply against 84 right now, and this is a strong army. This is a really, really good army mix, and he wants to take out those Queens as soon as possible, and he's able to pick 2 of them off before the Zerg player can get into position in order to defend against that push. The hatch will fall. The 3rd base is down already, and the only thing that Lucky is trying to do right now is to attack on his own, but there is 1 sentry still. The forge has been replaced, and there's a warp gate, so I don't think he will be able to stream into that base. As you can see, he's trying to take out the pylon. The pylon is dead. Where's the force field? Nice force field this time. Very good force field. He's able to hold on the Zerg player once again, and this is going to hurt. Lucky won't be able to kill the Protoss player. He's just walling off once again, blazing down another pylon. Oh my god, at both sides of the cannon, and maybe the forge will die, but that's about it, and there are not enough units for the Zerg player. Another force field, and the cannons are still alive. He blocks himself. The Balings are not able to get to the cannon. And in the meantime, yeah, now he's able to sneak in and kill some units. But the fight at the bottom is already unfolding. 8 workers killed by Lucky and 4 being killed by Alicia. And the force field are actually, yeah, putting some pressure on the Protoss player right now. He's not able to get into position against that spine crawler, but as you can see at the supply count, we are 95 against 74, so very good position for the Protoss player now to be in. Those attacks of Lucky didn't do all that much damage, and now we have a lot of good force fields for the Protoss player, and he can just walk up that ramp and then force field the ramp itself, and he's doing exactly that. He's doing exactly that. Very, very good decision, and this should be game. I don't think that Lucky will be able to defend this, and he knows, of course, that he doesn't stand a chance with these fighting positions and leaves the game. Alicia ties the series 1-1. Lucky, the Zerg player, isn't so lucky after all, at least not in game number 2, and therefore losing Typhon Peaks. So we will see a third game. Pretty cool thing, and I'm looking forward to it. Capturing it all. I'll upload the VODs, just so you guys know. If you missed anything, I'll upload the VODs later on. Basically this week. Game number 3, Lucky against Alicia, and we are on Tal'Darim altar. I really like that matchup on Tal'Darim, especially because there are so many different openings that you can use. Usually a Protoss player will go for Forge First play, but if you are Zerg and you want to punish him right away, you just go for a 10 pool and try to break through. We've seen that play also at the DreamHack when Huck was facing Moon. Moon wasn't really able to kill Huck in that situation, but Huck still had he had his work cut out for him in dealing with Moon's pressure. And Lucky is now just getting 10 supply, getting his Overlord. At the same time, at the top left, we have the Protoss player spotting, and as you can already see, the pylon is in place. The Forge will be placed down very, very soon. And what is the Zerg player doing? We have him on 12 supply right now. He's starting at the bottom left. And the last game, Volungselager Kevin's Alicia, I didn't like his macro all that much. He had a lot of mistakes, and that cost him the game in the end. But on Typhon Peaks, he really was on top of his game. He was aware of the situation the whole time, aware of the danger that the Zerglings and Banelings posed to his expansion, and those force fields at his natural were really, really well placed. He was able to wall off the whole time, and the Zerg wasted so many Banelings and Zerglings at his attempt to break through, and with his Gateway and Void Ray mix, he was the Protoss was in the end able just to walk up that ramp to the main that divides the main base and the natural expansion, and therefore there was no chance for Lucky to win that game. Those force fields are just too hard to deal with at the small choke like that, and yeah, the loss was pretty well, the win was deserved for Alicia, let's put it this way. But now Lucky is going for that hatchery, and he's going for a hatch first, and actually I think he should just cannon rush him. The one thing he should do is just place a pylon down there and a cannon up here. That's basically all you need to do, because the drones have such a huge rate, and this is exactly what I've been talking about. With a decent placement, you can just abuse those mineral patches and make sure that that cannon actually is able to get through. As you can see, there is no way that Lucky will hold on to this expansion. He needs to cancel it. He definitely needs to cancel it. There is no point in getting additional drones. The only thing he has to do, he can cancel that pylon, and he will cancel it. He already canceled it once, placed it a second time, because the drones are not able to kill the pylon while it's produced, while not surrounding it. And now the photon cannon is ready. He cancels that pylon, is placing another cannon, and Lucky has to cancel that expansion, and he doesn't do it. Here we go. Okay, that was really, really weird. The expansion for Alicia is already being built. As you can see, there's a photo cannon in the main base, and now a Roach Warren is placed down for the Zerg player. This is exactly the reason. This is exactly the problem I was talking about earlier. This is the reason why you don't go hedge first against the Protoss player on a map where he could potentially play Forge first. And Tal'Darim altar is such a map, and Alicia just proves why you don't do that. You can also, as a Protoss player, just build the pylons over here, just wall off, and then place the cannons behind it. You can place the pylons and the cannons in the back. which is fine as well, because if you place a cannon here, a pylon here, and a cannon, and then a cannon up there, then you can kill the hatchery, and if the Zerg actually wants to kill that, he has to walk all that way with his drones, loses tons of mining time, and still won't be able to deal with it. But what Lucky is doing right now, he has no way of getting an expansion, as you can obviously see, because of that cannon. He needs to kill those cannons first, or he needs to expand at a different spot on the map, which is probably what he's doing right now, because he's walking towards that position at the bottom of the map, and I expect a hatchery to be placed down anytime soon. Well, here we go. And at the same time, roaches are being built, and the roaches will be able to kill that cannon, but he needs more than only 2 of them. He needs those 3 roaches. We have the metabolic boost as well. Alicia needs to be careful now. He needs to be really, really careful. The game started really well for him, but he needs to wall off now. He needs to wall off, and he shouldn't get too greedy. Don't get too greedy if you were able to pull that off. The threats for the Protoss player right now are, for example, a drop play by the Zerg, a Nidus Storm, and a Nidus network, some Nidus in his base, or for example, what could also happen is just a push by the Zerg player, because he's so desperate, a push with roaches and Zerglings. And if Alicia is able to defend such plays, then he will be able to win this game. He needs to place additional pylons in the back of his base in order to get an idea of what's happening, not to miss any Nidus. And at the same time, he needs to get gateway units. He's going for a Stargate right now, for 2 of them actually, which is fine as well. But still, with that huge lead in economy that he has right now, with his expansion finished, he needs to play it a little bit more safe and not too greedy. As you can see, we are on 34 probes already against 22 drones. We have 5 roaches, which is not all that much. The second cannon coming up. I like that. 1 cannon wouldn't be enough, so a second cannon is what you should do. And we have the first Void Ray being built. There are the first roaches, and they are well outside the range of that photon cannon, killing that cybernetics core. Another pylon being built, and there's the Nidus network. There is the Nidus, so there is no spread by Alicia, and this might get nasty. 46 supply against 44, 25 army supply, and Alicia being pretty greedy. There's the Void Ray, he needs to retreat. What about those Nidus? What about that Nidus network? Where will he place it? Will Alicia be able to see it? That is the big question right now. The roaches are retreating. There are 10 additional Zerglings being produced, and the Nidus network is being placed right inside of the Protoss player, which is a mistake in my opinion. All those probes are immediately pulled off the mineral patches and attacking the Nidus network. No way that this is going through. He should have just moved that Overlord towards that cliff a little bit earlier, and now of course we see those pylons. Now of course Alicia is placing those pylons. He made a huge mistake by not doing that in the first place, but thanks to the bad positioning of his opponent, thanks to that mistake by Lucky not waiting for that Overlord, not rally it there earlier, he might be able to just defend against those nice networks, because the Zerg showed his cards, and now Alicia is able to defend against it. The Nidus network is through, being killed, and this is the GG, and Lucky leaves the game after winning the first map. He loses to Alicia with 2-1. The Protoss player with a very nice play. The Zerg started off too greedy, started with that hatch first, got punished by the cannons. And although Alicia made a huge mistake by playing too greedy himself after that great start into the game, LuckyfOu was not able to get his Nidus network up because he placed it in the wrong position, and therefore he lost the game. The Protoss wins this series. Congratulations to Alicia. Very well done.